You're now watching The Wash daily. Governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, has signed legislation to expunge the records of low-level cannabis users, which is saying this is a very historic day, that they're taking action to undo the wrongs of the past, and they're going to make it more equitable and more fair in the state of Michigan. Not just for cannabis, but for everything. Critics of Whitmer are saying, that's great, but you still have people in Michigan serving time, 50 years, for cannabis, and you're not letting them out. Maybe you should let the prisoners out and then talk about expungements. Also in news, the U.S. does not support changes to the International Drug Treaty, which reclassifies CBD. What they're saying is, it's impossible to test for cannabis if we're going to allow CBD, because CBD is cannabis, even though it doesn't have any THC, and there's no real way to test for THC except for to test for cannabis, and assuming that it all has THC. And if you're saying that CBD doesn't have THC, that creates a problem, so we can't do that, because we need to still bust people for cannabis, and we can't have anything ruining that, is what they're saying. Saying it's more important that we are able to put people in cages for cannabis, that we ruin the ability to put people in cages for cannabis. The U.S. does, however, support the removal of cannabis altogether from classification on the International Drug Treaty as being a Class 4 narcotic. And they're not moving their own Class 1 designation on cannabis, which is ultimately the same designation, that it's a harmful product, very addictive, with no medicinal purpose. They're making new ways to get in trouble for cannabis instead of making it decriminalized, which is what needs to happen. The problem is, lawmakers are too corrupt to handle cannabis. There is no reason to control cannabis. It's not dangerous. It's never killed anybody. We should just stop letting them do this to us and demand decriminalization of cannabis. Also in news, more reasons to dislike car salespeople. Montana is looking to legalize cannabis. However, a very annoying car salesman decided that he should fight cannabis legalization. He's really looking for the criminalization of cannabis. He doesn't want cannabis for anybody in the state of Montana. He's filing a lawsuit calling out some local cannabis companies. Well, Steve Zababwa is looking for Michigan Cannabis Company, North Fund, be mandated to report on where they're getting their funding from. Steve Zababwa is accusing Michigan's North Fund, a non-profit cannabis-based organization, of receiving dark money for their operations, and he's demanding they disclose where the funding is coming from. Instead of minding his own business, he's getting in the way of a non-profit Montanan cannabis company, North Fund. Steve filed a similar complaint last year, and the judge ruled against it. North Fund saying it shouldn't have to disclose where its funding is coming from or who its donors are. Thanks for watching The Wash daily.